So, hello everybody. Welcome to our Christmas edition of our podcast. Thank you for joining us, and joining me today, as always, is my son, Joshua Wild. Hi, Josh.
Hello, Dad. Hope everyone's having a nice Christmas.
Yes, thank you very much. Hope you have too. And so we're 2 games into Sam Allardyce's reign at the Hawthorns. As you know, in our last podcast, I wasn't too enthusiastic about his uh, appointment at the Albion. So we're 2 games in. We've played Aston Villa and Liverpool. So how do you think things are faring for him after those 2 matches?
Very much 2 different games for us. Villa, obviously, we got battered a bit 3-0. A very well played game by Villa, unfortunately. I was very surprised. I would have been surprised if we'd have got a result out of that. But the Liverpool game, much better. Very much a performance like we put in against Man City, going down 1-0 and then equalising through Semi Ajayi. Not much to report on other than that.
Yeah. So
How do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. So if we just cast our minds back to his first game against Aston Villa, and a couple of key moments happened in that match. We can talk about, first of all, the sending off, of course, of Jake Livermore. I personally thought it was a very, very harsh decision. I'll tell you the reasons why. We all know Jack Grealish is very good at exaggerating. That's the best way to put it. I think he made the most of Livermore's challenge. You could see Livermore was trying to hook the ball. He'd gone over the top of the ball. Contact on Jack Grealish's leg was minimal. Of course, the reaction from Jack Grealish was that of total overreaction. Made it look a lot worse than what it was. And you can actually see from the slow motion replays, Livermore had scooped the ball away, and he was sent off for dangerous play, which, we can argue all day long. I thought it probably a yellow. I think a red was quite harsh. Anyway, it was what it was. The ref decided to give a red card for dangerous play, and then a few moments later, we see an equally bad challenge on Diagana, which could have easily, I've seen it happen in many football matches before. They could have easily broke his leg. Well, and we could have seen Grady out for quite considerable time with a bad injury. And I just felt that the ref was extremely inconsistent, because if Livermore's was a red card, then I strongly believe that Villa's challenge on Diagana should have been a red as well. And listening to all of the pundits on Sky Sports News that I watch and listen to, there was quite unanimous agreement there that even by the former refs, that should have been a red card. So we was down to 10 men for the majority of the match, for 3/4 of the match. Scoreline could have been a lot more than the 3-0. I did actually post on one of the Albion Facebook groups that I was expecting Jack Grealish to win a penalty during the course of the match, and of course he did. But overall, I think if we take things into perspective, Aston Villa having spent over 100 million this season again on players, and the quality showed, they were far better in every department of the field.
Yeah.
Would 10 men apiece made any difference to the outcome of the match? I seriously doubt it. I think Villa were, it pains me to say it, they were far the better team. We lacked in every department. We didn't look like scoring. Villa took their chances. They won 3-0, and it was Sam Allardyce's first game in charge, and so Villa were far the better team and deserve the result in the scoreline. To be honest,
Yeah.
so that were my thoughts on that match. Again, we seem to be talking about bad refereeing decisions and stuff, but it was nice to be able to watch the match last night, and after the match not be talking about a VAR decision, not be talking about a poor refereeing decision.
Yeah.
So this is a Liverpool game.
Before we quickly go on, I just want to give a few of my thoughts on the game. I was at work at the time, so I didn't get to watch the game in real time. But
was this a Villa game?
Yeah, the Villa game.
Yeah.
And so, but I had a little £10 bet with the guy who supports Villa at work, and as soon as I saw us go 1-0 down, I just handed him the tenner. I was like, "Yeah, we're not winning this one at all."
Yeah.
But from what I could tell, we weren't treating the game like a derby, and we were going in. We were second to every loose ball. We were all 50-50s were like, in terms of like, oh, who will come out of this 50-50 challenge. It was always, we were never the first to reach them. It just seemed like the whole squad was down. I'm not sure if that was due to the red card or if it was due to other stuff, but you have all these talks of like the new manager boost, and Sam Allardyce normally has one, and it just didn't seem to be there. I think the players weren't ready for that game on the day. And it goes to show, and obviously we've had quite a few. We've had 3 red cards this season now, which is probably, other than Arsenal, the most in the league. And I think maybe there's been a bit of disciplinary issues going on behind the scenes, but I think overall the red card might help us, because I think Jake Livermore's a bit past it. So I think now that we have a good reason for him not being in the squad, and the fact that he's ineligible might help us get a few wins in the next 2 games.
Definitely. I think you're absolutely right. I was expecting another red card last night for one of our players, and just seems to happen. I think I said in our last podcast, watching Midlands derbies, there always seems to be a bad injury. There always seems to be a red card, especially when playing Aston Villa. And I was really hoping that wouldn't happen this time round, but of course we got away with coming off without an injury, which was good. But we did get a red card, and like you say, Livermore has not been playing too brilliant at this moment in time. So maybe it gives a chance of another player to step up to the mark and take that place by the scruff of the neck and start putting some decent performances in for us, because we really do need a ball winner in the centre of the park who can not necessarily play a stunning pass, but we just need someone who can just win the ball in midfield and then just do a simple pass to one of our playmakers like Piera or Grady and let them work their magic. And of course Conor Gallagher, who's, as far as I'm concerned, he's having a brilliant season. He's getting stuck in. He's running his socks off for us, and he's a great player to watch. I'm glad we've got him, even if it's a season on loan from Chelsea. He's playing really well for us. You can see that he's been outstanding so far this season. So
yeah, all right. Well, let's talk about the Liverpool game now.
Yes, of course, going into this match, a lot of fans' expectations, me for one as well, expecting a 4 or 5-0 defeat to the hands of Liverpool. I'm sitting here pleased to say that we came away again from a top team whose squad value is something in the region of £985 million, which is an extraordinary amount for a squad. I think our entire squad is worth around 75 million. So you got about 900 million.
Yeah.
Let's just say that word again. £900 million difference in the two teams, and we come away with a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, we've got our squad value is the same as Virgil van Dijk. So,
well, that
goes to show.
There you go. So, looking at the match, first half, I really feared the worst. I think we showed them far, far too much respect. We just let them play. We was defending for our lives on the 18-yard box. I really thought this is terrible, absolute terrible. We wasn't attack minded. I couldn't see any other outcome than the floodgates opening in the second half. Liverpool, for all their possession they had, didn't seem to be able to create any clear-cut chances, thankfully, in the first half. Obviously, Mane took his goal well. You could argue that it was poor defending by ourselves, but if you watch the goal, he really did move well in get into position, and it was a well-taken goal by Liverpool for their goal, So, but we seem to just shut up shop, as we say, part of the buzz, and we invited Liverpool onto us, and we managed, I don't know how, poor finishing by Liverpool or great defending by Albion. We come into the break only 1-0 down, and I was expecting it to be 2 or 3-0 at least, but so we survived that onslaught during the first half. What were your thoughts on the first half, Josh?
Yeah, first half, as soon as that goal went in the first 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I messaged all my friends who support Liverpool saying, wrong game for us. And I was watching it and I was like, I was also fearing the worst, but fortunately it was just 1-0 and the game's never over at 1-0, which is good for us. I was very surprised at the starting lineup. We were playing, I think it was 4-5-1 again, which I was quite surprised at because with Sam Allardyce, he is quite renowned for his 4-4-2, and with the players he had on the team, it was, I believe,
he did
in midfield. I think it was Diangana, Gallagher, Phillips, Robinson, and there's probably someone else I'm missing, but I can't quite remember. But I was very strange to see that Robinson was on the wing instead of up top with Karlan Grant, because he is his natural position is a striker, so you would have thought they would have been up there as a 4-4-2.
We did play Robinson and Grant in the same lineup last night. Obviously, Sawyers was in midfield. Again, Sawyers didn't really win many tackles in midfield. He was obviously in the squad in the team starting lineup because of Livermore being out. I think he's got a long way to go to become a decent Premier League midfielder himself, So you could obviously see Allardyce is thinking of trying to get Robinson and Grant linked together in some way, So that, and then completely different story in the second half, which was I don't know where that came from. Obviously, people have talked about Sam Allardyce's master plan. Well, obviously, it worked. Whatever the plan was, thwart them in the first half, and then get at them in the second half. And right from the whistle for the second half, we went at them. Was a different threat altogether, and I think Liverpool wasn't expecting it, to be honest.
It was quite a surprise. We could have easily scored. Karlan Grant taken that chance, which was albeit a very difficult chance to take. If he'd have put that between the goalkeeper's legs or to the side of him, we could be talking about a 2-1 shock win. You never know. So.
Yeah, that's right. I think we spoke about this on a previous podcast, that the way Albion are lining up, and we've, for a striker, he's only going to get 2 or 3 chances in a match, and he needs to bury one of them, and he didn't have that many chances. He probably only had a couple of chances in the game last night. That one, what did impress me about that though, was his pace and his speed. That was to give him a chance again to be on goal, and you could see he was trying to fire the ball underneath the keeper's legs. Maybe other experienced Premier League strikers would have just dinked it over the keeper, because the keeper was quite low on the ground at the time anyway. A little chip, a little lob into into the goal. Maybe a more experienced striker would have opted to take that. But again, Grant, he did incredibly well with his pace. He kept hold of the ball. He got his shot on target. He forced a save out the keeper. So let's look at the positives of that move.
I think it does go a bit without saying that if it hadn't been for, I think it was Joel Matip to go off injured, we might not have got that chance, because he is a very experienced centre back, and to have one of their young centre backs come in, it did help us a lot getting the chance and the goal. And just looking at some stats here from the game, we had a total of 22 possession of the ball, and five shots in total and 3 on target, whereas Liverpool had 17 shots and 2 on target. So I think it goes without saying that if they had had their shooting boots on, then the game, it could have been different. But fortunately for us, they hadn't been practicing shooting that week. So
yeah, definitely. So chances, clear chances for us in the style of play that Allardyce seems to be setting out for us. It's not going to be pretty football. I think we all need to be aware and prepared for that. We're not going to be playing pretty football. It's going to be not so pleasing on the eye for quite a time. I think we're going to be looking at nicking games 1-0 and defending for our lives for the majority of the match. So I think our expectations, I know as Albion fans, we like to watch free-flowing passing football. We always have, but that's not Allardyce's way, unfortunately. So it's going to be dirty football for the time being if we want to stay in this division. Unfortunately, but obviously he wants to get results, and that's the way he's going to be playing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think he said the other day that he wants to win more clean sheets and score more goals, and I think that's the first thing you got to do, because you can't lose a football game if you don't concede anything. That goes without saying, but we do need to obviously get more 3-pointers under our belt than 1-pointers.
Definitely, but of course you don't win matches without scoring goals either, so it's a problem at both ends, really. But I'll be totally honest with you, as you know from our previous podcast, I'm still not thrilled about the appointment of Sam Allardyce as our manager, but he is our manager, and I will stick by our team and club despite who's in charge. Like I say, it's not going to be pretty for the time being. It would be nice to see a few more results. I don't know where they're going to come from. I really don't know where the wins are going to come from, but we might nick a 1-0 here or there, but we're still baggies, we still support and love the club, and it's just a period of time that we're going through as fans. And if Sam Allardyce does manage to keep us up, then great. Gives us a platform for our current owners to sell the club. I think they're petrified of us getting relegated because it will devalue the club. And I was thinking about this last night after the Liverpool match. Sorry, excuse me. That obviously the current owners do want to sell the club. There's rumours of this American consortium wanting to buy the Albion, and I personally can't wait for the current owners to sell up and move on, because they're obviously not interested. Apparently they have promised Sam Allardyce some money in the January transfer window to buy some new players and stuff. And we don't know how much, but they're obviously not interested enough to take the club forward. So the sooner they're gone, the better. And if it means that Premiership survival can seal that deal and get new owners in, then I'm going to sound like I'm going to contradict myself now. Then we need to get behind Big Sam and make sure we stay in the Premier League. So
I don't think you've contradicted yourself. Yeah, I don't think you've contradicted yourself there. You've said from the get-go that he is our manager and we will back him. Just not too pleased about him being there. But I think, the sooner these owners go and we get someone in who really wants to have a football club that is winning, have a football club that is making an impact in the Premier League, and not just a relegation fodder club or a up and down yo-yo club that West Brom have been in the past, the better. But Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not really too knowledgeable when it comes to the owners of the club. I just know that no one likes them, and
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, so I think it's really important that we can at least get enough points together to challenge survival.
yeah,
I think it is possible. I think it really is possible. Let's hope we get a couple of new additions in the January transfer window to give it a good shout. So
yeah.
it gives the club a platform to be able to sell uh, during the closed season. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's my thoughts on that. So after those results, let's just look at the league table. So we've taken 2 points off the top of two of the top teams in the division in Man City and Liverpool, both away from home, may I add, which were great performances. Credit where credit's due. The plan worked, and we come away with a point, which was great. So again, rooted to the bottom of the table is Sheffield United on 2 points, and then it's ourselves, having played 15 games, on 8 points, in 19th position. Then above us, currently on 11 points is Fulham, having played 15 games, and then Burnley in 17th position, along with Brighton in 16th, both on 13 points. So the gap is 5 points at the moment, depending if Fulham or Burnley can find a win from somewhere. They both seem to be draw specialists at the moment, or lose them. No one seems to be able to pull away and create a big void. I think 2 wins back to back for us would see us leapfrog Fulham, Burnley and Brighton, which would put us in a real healthy position. So all's not lost in the grand scheme of things, and it's not unheard of to go on a 2 or 3 match winning run. We've done it before in the Premier League. I'm sure we can do it again with let's just remind ourselves it's only Big Sam's second game in charge. He's had barely a week to put his ideas through to the squad, and we've got Leeds United tomorrow night, only a day later after the Liverpool game. So
48 hours after, not much time at all.
Not much time to prepare. He has been thrown in at the deep end, really, with the amount of fixtures coming thick and fast at this time of year. So 1 point out of a possible 6. It's not too bad against Villa and Liverpool. Gaining I think prior to those 2 matches, I think everyone would have agreed on not getting a single point at all, but we've come away with a point out of those 2 games. And
arguably the more difficult game we've got a point out of. So,
well, most definitely. The league champions, and we seem to be a bit of a difficult match for Liverpool, having them not being able to beat us in the last 4 or 5 games we've played against them. So So moving on, we've got Leeds tomorrow night, currently sitting in 12th position on 20 points. Obviously, they're having a great season themselves. Patrick Bamford in particular seems to be knocking the goals in for fun. Really adapted well into the Premier League. It's no surprise to me that Leeds are doing well. I was hoping that they wouldn't be having such a good season, to be honest, but they are. Yeah. They've adapted much better than we have. Obviously, they've spent money. They've got a much deeper squad than we have. So, what do you reckon? Leeds tomorrow night?
It's going to be very tough for us, as every game is in the Premier League. But I think Man United managed to tackle Leeds very well and exploited all of their weaknesses to perfection the other week, beating them 6-2. And I think if we can exploit the Leeds, if we can, because Leeds like to press quite heavily in numbers into the box, if we can manage to shut up shop there and get them on the break, we could be looking at maybe a 5 goal thriller in this game. So this game is very much going to go one of 2 ways. I don't think it'll be a draw. I think one team will come away with the win. But I think it's going to be a very open game for either side. because I think they may have conceded a lot more goals than us this year already, which is quite difficult because we've been conceding quite a few in some games. But so there's plenty of goals in this game. I'll bet. I don't know however much money you want to bet. I will guarantee this game will not be a 0-0.
Definitely. Just looking at the stats here, Leeds have scored 25 goals and conceded 30, whereas Albion have scored 11 and conceded 30.
The same.
So we've conceded the same amount of goals, which could indicate that there is a weakness at the back that at Leeds United, which we could exploit with a bit of pace from Grant, quality cross or pass from Piera. Would be nice playing at home to see a more attacking Albion team. I doubt we'll see it. I think we're going to see much more of the same.
Part of us.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to get used to that. So that's Leeds, and then following, let's have a look at our next fixtures. Yeah, I think possibly 2 or 3-1 to Leeds United. I can't see an Albion win unless I could be wrong. I think Leeds might prove to be a little bit too strong for us. I know we're playing at home. But anything can happen, as we know, with our draw against Liverpool. But I think Leeds might just prove to be a bit too strong for us at this moment in time, especially with the form, as I mentioned, of Patrick Bamford, that seems to be in. So we've got Arsenal on Saturday. We have a short break to play Blackpool away in the FA Cup, which would be a nice break from the Premier League stressings.
A good confidence booster, hopefully.
And then in January, we can look forward to playing Wolves away on the 16th of January, West Ham away on the 19th of January, and then we come into an interesting set of fixtures of playing Fulham and Sheffield United back-to-back, which are really two critical games where we need to get maximum points from. That's when I would really like to see us get those 2 wins back-to-back, Fulham at home and Sheffield United away. I think it's entirely possible. And just prior to that, we've got Man City at home, so possibly on paper, we've got 5 really, really tough matches in front of us before we move into games that I think we can all expect to get 3 points from in Fulham and Sheffield United, so
I think even Wolves is at the minute a very I don't want to say winnable, but it's a game where we could cause an upset, and West Ham as well. Obviously 2 teams on their day, brilliant, but off their day, a very average team, and we can look to exploit that. So if we can get a result against either definitely Wolves or West Ham and go into the Fulham and Sheffield games, we could be looking at a complete different league table in a month's time. But for now, we've got to face Leeds and then face Arsenal, and Arsenal aren't having the best season either, so that's another winnable game.
I believe so. I think. I know they had a good result against Chelsea the other day, but their season seems to be stop-starting. We beat Arsenal before at the Hawthorns. I'm sure we can do it again. Yeah, and it will be interesting to see when we do our next podcast how we've managed to fare in our next couple of games.
Yeah, very true.
So, okay, Josh, it's been a pleasure talking to you again. And,
as always.
And let's hope for 3 points against Leeds United tomorrow night. And all I can say is thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you for following us. I hope we've entertained you. And I hope that we talk sense and you agree with us. If you don't agree with us and you'd like to make comment, then our Facebook page. Please post us your questions, and may I wish you all a very happy new year, and up the Albion.